Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Maria Muñoz. I'm the MuleSoft practice lead at Globant. I'm a proudly member of the Partner Advisory Board in MuleSoft, and I'm really happy to host today this roundtable that is called the next generation of AI agents in the Salesforce ecosystem. We are living a fascinating time with AI agents, and they are no longer a promise, they are a reality. And this is very useful for all the organizations, indeed. Today, we are going to explore this transformation, this journey with agents from three perspectives. The client that is already seeing agents in action, the partner that we are helping to create a roadmap to support agents, and the vendor that is always thinking what is the next step for the platform. So please welcome our guest here. From La Liga, we have Bernardo Hermoso. Thank you so much, Bernardo, for being with us.
Thank you.
Bernardo is head of growth and fan engagement, and he's really an early adopter of Salesforce Agentforce. They already have 2 great use cases in production. From Globant, we have Nicolas Andrade.
Hey, Malo.
Nicolas is our Salesforce Studio Global AI leader, and he's also part of the Agentforce Partner Advisory Board. And from Salesforce, we are here with Vara Mandy. Thank you, Vara.
Thank you.
Vara is AI Solution Engineering Leader, and he will be sharing with us a little bit more about what is next. So let's begin with the customer's voice, Bernardo, because it is when all the innovation is a reality. So Bernardo, La Liga was among the first to bring Salesforce Agentforce into production. What inspired that decision, and what challenges were you trying to solve?
Hello, everybody. Well, in this case, La Liga is not only the competition, the Spanish competition of football. We try always to be ahead in terms of technology. For us, AI is key. Even we have an AI department in the company. And also in terms of technology, as you know, we have a joint venture with Globant. That is the result of Sportian. Mm-hmm. So in this case, last year, after Salesforce presented during Dreamforce 24, the agents and Agentforce in this case, for us at that moment was like, hey, we have a couple of use cases that we are sure that we can implement a couple of agents and start working with that. In terms of what we are doing in the company, it was easy, because the company is really focused on AI, and now we are really focused on go ahead. But in this case, we had these use cases, one focused on monetization, the other one focused on engagement. So it was a decision that for us was easy at the moment.
Interesting. And how was that implementation journey? Did you face cultural, technical, or organizational challenges that you can share with us?
Well, cultural and organization challenges, it's always the same, probably the budget. But at the moment we had budget, we had to say, and also we have, having, in this case, the help of Globant was easy. Having the support of Salesforce at that moment was also easy for us. But in terms of challenges, probably the main challenge in Europe, as you know, is the GDPR. We always need to be compliant, and in this case, our compliance team was really focused on what we wanted to do, what was the kind of information we gathered from the users, and they were like trying to focus on being sure that we were not going ahead in terms of the law. So what we had to do was like prepare different phases. Be sure that at the beginning the implementation was just transparent for the user, just trying to help the user, in this case, to answer different questions they could have when they went to our different platforms. And from that moment, when we started to try to mix and how we could leverage with the information that we already have from the users, for instance, in Service or Marketing Cloud. And now we are ahead and trying to implement the third phase that is like the agent is going to start executing different actions and also being able to execute like a changing of the plan, in terms of the subscription they have in the loyalty platform and also in the OTT. So it's been like a path for us, a journey.
Definitely, yes, thank you. And could you share a specific example, maybe one of the use cases already in production, maybe that can show a little bit more about what agents are changing or promoting innovation in La Liga?
Sure. We have 2 agents right now, okay? First one was focused on monetization for our OTT. We have La Liga Plus, that is our OTT services, and it was an agent focused on giving the user the answer about the different plans and content that we have in the platform. And then one we tried to implement was one focused on the engagement. We have Mi Liga, that is called in Spanish My League, because we are a customer-centric company. So for us, giving the user that sense that, or the feeling that they control everything is really important. So the loyalty platform Mi Liga is focused on gamification. Okay, that makes sense. We are in the end a sport company. It's based on different kind of voting system, prediction, quizzes, trying to figure out what is going to be the best player in the next game or these kind of things. And it's really based on trying to predict what is going to happen, and if you have the statistics and this kind of information, it's much easier. So what we implemented was an agent. We can see now a video that is going to answer everything you can have about the competition, the players, the teams, and everything. So in this case, for instance, from laliga.com,
yes, let's play the video.
You have the agent that is called Alex. Alex is the virtual influencer of La Liga. He also has, in terms of social media, like a profile. So in this case, from Mi Liga, the user is, first of all, Alex is asking the user about the name, so Alex can get all the information that the user has, because this is based on login, so the user have an account already. And now, in this case, he's asking about player performance. He can ask about match data, about coach history, and all the information. As he's going to ask about Lamine Yamal, the star player for FC Barcelona. And he's going to ask everything about the players. So imagine that you have to do like a prediction, and you are trying to, you need to decide if you are going to place in your team Yamal or Vinicius from Madrid, for instance, or Mbappe or Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. With all of the information that the user have, they have more chances to win, because in the end, he's going to collect tickets if he wins, and with those tickets, he can participate in different polls and win prizes and these kind of things in terms of the kind of funds that we have are really important. And we think also that the football, is a team sport. So now you are not alone when you are facing Mi Liga. You now can team up with Alex.
Yes. Thank you, Bernardo. Finally, looking ahead, what's next on your roadmap for agents?
Well, right now, Nico knows. We are already working on the Orica project. It's the B2B side. This is, of course, B2C. But in terms of B2B, we have all the information about the customers from our Orica sector. And in this case, we are always facing different kind of internal stakeholders questions about the data, about analytics and everything. So next step is going to be like an analytic agent. He's going to be running on Tableau Next. So the idea is to have this agent ready to answer all the questions that the company from different areas can have about financial, about customers, about everything, contracts or whatever. So now we are already in discussions with you guys and trying to implement this new use case.
That's great. And definitely La Liga, it's a great example about next-gen platform adoption and how agents could be really successful. So congratulations, Bernardo, and thank you for sharing. Let's hear now the partner voice with Nico here. So Nico, you and Globant team have helped organizations like La Liga translate all this vision that what they want to achieve into a practical roadmap. So from your experience, what steps do you recommend for creating a progressive roadmap that delivers quick value?
Yeah, thanks for asking, having me here, Malu. What we have been working with several clients there in the US and of course worldwide is that everything that comes through, like the different use cases that will be supported with Agentforce and NextGen, needs to be attached directly on specifically like the benefits and of course what is the ROI of those projects, right? So what we are trying to do and trying to explain to clients is that these kind of roadmap are going to be composed by data. Of course, we need to understand data maturity from the side. We need to understand, and of course, the current discussion is not about building agents, it's how you are going to measure the impact of those agents, right? So the first step is to know how we are going to impact the business and make sure that we are going to be able to measure the impact, right? Having the corresponding indicators and the tools to start measuring what we are trying to connect with the agents and of course the business, right? So the first step is to identify this, is how we are going to tackle and how we are going to measure them, right? And I think that there was an announcement here in Dreamforce this year that we are having there several tools as Agentforce observability. That is a very good starting point there for starting measuring what the happening with those agents, right? So the steps are easily. We understand that we need to identify business cases. We need to know how we are going to measure the impact. Then we need to assess data, right? And I think that the next like talking points about this is how we are going to govern on agents, right?
Definitely.
So this is something that currently are in the table. This is a big conversation between how you are going to interconnect agents and also how you are going to govern them. Right, so that's the different steps that we recommend to our clients.
Great, great. And what about the challenges? Because Bernardo mentioned that they were experiencing some challenges that not necessarily are technical.
Yeah, there's a lot of challenge there. Saying that everything was perfect in our implementation is something that is crazy. But we have noticed a lot of things that we have experienced many different strategies to solve the problem that we have faced, right? From the data side, every time we are having trouble with data, with the data quality part. We're also having problems on how we can interconnect the different agents, and MuleSoft is a very important piece there, right? Because in several use cases where you want to deliver real-time insights based on the agent's capacity, you need to interconnect the data directly to Agentforce, right? Not pass through data cloud, right?
Right.
So we have also experienced different challenges in interconnectivity because all the clients there with big and several enterprise platforms there, they need to interconnect agents, right? So currently, one of the biggest challenges is how we're going to be prepared for connecting the future Agentforce agents with those external agents outside, right? So this is something that we are preparing, and of course, those challenges are going to be faced and of course support using Agentic Fabric.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And also, we all know now here at Dreamforce all the new features, all the new capabilities that every day is like Salesforce launching. And how can we help to create this balance between innovation and pragmatism so we can be with the pace of the organization?
Yeah, something that I think that we try to recommend to all our clients is that first we need to be connected with the business goals, right? So that means that currently, if we want to introduce those final innovations in the platform, that means Agentic Fabric, everything that was launched by Salesforce in this year, needs to be connected with some specific goal. Everything starts with this, right? And then, of course, what we try to do with our clients is to start cheaper and then expand, right? Trying to localize different use cases where we can obtain like a big return in a very short time, right? Period of time. So we are trying to focus on this, trying to focus on those kind of agents that could deliver value so fast, and then we can expand into more complicated cases when you involve more data, when you interconnect agents, where you also maybe start working with MCP servers there to connect actions outside Salesforce, right? So you can start cheaper and then expand to more complex use cases. That's our recommendation.
Definitely. And something that we are seeing is a very big differences between some organizations when they are adopt and scale agents versus the organizations that maybe they are behind. So can we recommend best practices and maybe bring what is the difference and how and why these organizations are like embracing agents
totally.
in a better way?
What we are facing in many cases is that I think that this happen all to you in these kind of projects is that you start building an agent, but you don't know how you are going to measure the impact, right? Mm-hmm. So what we are doing right now with our clients and in terms of best practices is first think about how you are going to measure the impact before you start the project, right? You need to know what KPIs are you going to monitor, and you need to be sure that you are going to assess on that. Because with that, you can say that the implementation project will be a successful project, right? So we are trying to extend that kind of framework to our clients, to start with this kind of business impact, trying to extend them the different manners to measure that impact, right? And of course incorporate tools like Agentic observability there within Agentforce to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's our suggestion to our clients, start with this kind of cases where they can add value so fast and then expand, but every time know what you are trying to impact and measure it, right? That's the good road.
Thank you, Nico. So let's hear from the vendor side. So what's the platform? What is new and what is next for the technology, Vara?
Thanks, Malu. But first of all, Bernardo, thank you for being a great customer of ours. We love our customers. And Nicholas, thanks for being a great partner as well. Without you guys, I think success is a different thing for all of us there. So we love both our customers and more so our partners as well, because those are the guys who are going to make you guys successful as well. So going back to your question, I think Agentic, everyone aspires to be an Agentic enterprise. I think you probably have seen the last couple of days. Mm-hmm. Agentic enterprise has been the center of everything that's being spoken about at Dreamforce. Agentforce, of course, is the enabler for Agentic enterprise. And like we always say at Salesforce, we like to drink our own Kool-Aid. We are an Agentic enterprise ourselves. And if you tune into help.salesforce.com or support.salesforce.com, you see those agents working behind the scenes and helping all of our customers. One of the things that I think we all need to realize is, of course, as we look at agents as those new consumers that are helping our customers, we all know that Agentic enterprise is something that can actually impact all three, fundamentally change all three dimensions: the people, the product, and of course the process as well. And you put it really well, Nicholas. The process is as important, but I think people are also as important. And we're living in a very different world now, where people just think that agents are going to replace humans. Agents are going to be much more open to working over hours, being always available and all that. But I think the reality is that the agent needs to be pretty specific, and accuracy is probably the key there to become successful. And I think with non-deterministic models, the LLMs and the infrastructure behind the scenes, it's okay to expect that the agents can fail, but I think the accuracy still holds. And that's where humans are going to be, and more importantly, partners like you guys who've got deep dive experience across each domain use case. And I love that you're making everyone rich with all that data there. Everyone's winning the game there. So I think that's a phenomenal use case where technology can positively impact with more accurate decision making and the future for all of us.
Yeah, you're right, Mara. Thank you. And how is Salesforce evolving Agentforce to make agents more autonomous and more connected and more secure?
Well, we got a new name for Agentforce. It's called Agentforce 360. If you have tuned into the keynote, I think that's what we would like to call. So we brought that customer 360 branding back, which is awesome. And what we also love is that Agentforce and MuleSoft are actually next to each other. Even though in the last Agentforce conversation, you probably saw that rainbow, where MuleSoft is still that foundational aspect, but now it's much more closer there. So I think we love that.
Yeah, we do.
And yeah, I think it's a phenomenal opportunity for all of us, particularly because we're not just champions of MuleSoft and integration and data, but we are also now the champions of Agentforce as well, because we understand deep down that agents are going to be fundamentally improving customer outcomes, and while also ensuring that the productivity efficiency gains that we've long dreamt of become reality there. So with respect to agents, data becomes that oil that drives the outcomes, and you really want to make sure that the data that is siloed, so it's still back to the same integration problem back in the day, where you don't have that customer 360 because you have data spanning across your ERPs, your CRMs, your data lakes, every single place out there. And you're duplicating, there's redundancy, and as a result, you can't build the same interface essentially, or the experience across multiple channels. And customers' expectations have become really, really fast and bigger. And now I think they're also fine-tuning in. They're actually, I've spent the last couple of days talking to customers who've been asked, hey, I think there's now a general expectation that my website needs to have an agent. In the older world, they would probably ask, hey, maybe a chatbot is sufficient. But now they're also realizing that their end customers, they don't want to dial in, and even if they dial in, of course, we've launched Agentforce for voice, they still want to get those common questions answered much faster, and they actually see agents actually solving that problem there. So the agentic enterprise is no longer a distant dream or an aspirational aspect. It's become that foundational aspect that will determine who those winners are and who's going to fall short of their expectations. And customers are always our kings. So I think if they got it right, I think we all fall in line, and we got to get this right.
Yeah. And we all here, we love Salesforce, definitely, but we know that reorganization needs to operate beyond Salesforce. We need to touch IRP, we need to bring data from data lakes. So how is MuleSoft helping to make that possible for agentic ecosystems?
Awesome. I'm glad that you actually asked that question.
Of course.
Because it's the same data silos problem. It's no longer that application that just stores as your single source of truth. I think the systems of engagement are now becoming even more important than just the old way of systems of record. You will still use those systems of record, but you do not really want to go all the way down to actually get that 360-degree view of a customer. And whether it's digital or on the website or even on a mobile app, you still should be able to pick up your experience from where you've left. So you shouldn't be starting all over again. And that is only possible through the integration. And how MuleSoft is really making it not just that easy, but I think it's also it's also trying to solve a very important problem called universal connectivity. A lot of times, these apps that exist across all these enterprises, across all of our customers, are either homegrown, because you guys have invested not just in the IP, but the pride in every single initiative that you have put in. And if someone's going to come in and say, hey, I'm going to replace your most loved app, or the one that you've truly built over a number of years, and you've always felt that it was yours, and replace it with something else, you would obviously feel, hey, can't I just connect and get that data out? And that's where MuleSoft is going to come in, and soon we're going to launch certain feature functions that are going to make that ultimately very low code, but also that friction of building and being able to bring data, no matter where it exists, no matter how it is written, no matter what architecture style it is. And of course, SaaS are easy to build, but we've always seen apps try to be behind firewalls in secure on-prem systems. So that's something that we are trying to really, really solve. And I think we have come very, very far from there. I think, and you will see some really exciting stuff. And the other aspect of it is, while you build that universal connectivity, I think the biggest challenge, of course, on the other side is also make sure that this connectivity works across multiple platforms. So for instance, you build a MuleSoft connector, you also have a Tableau connector, you also have a Data Cloud connector. Does that mean that I have to use, when I'm connecting to Data Cloud, should I use Data Cloud connector? Or if I'm using Tableau, should I be doing Tableau connector? But at the end, you're still doing the same thing. You're still calling the same endpoint, the same systems of record, right? So the next biggest thing that we're also going to solve is not just building that universal connectivity, but also making sure that it is available across all of those popular platforms, not just Salesforce, which is our mothership, but also ServiceNow, Snowflake, Databricks, and beyond, which is going to take this game completely, I think, that agentic experience completely in a new dimension where you're actually building agents, truly building agents.
But how do you think that Salesforce is seeing the role of the partners like Globant in this new journey?
Oh, that's, I think that's my favorite question, by the way. So we love our partners. We show a lot of partner love, even though sometimes you might see here and there. I think we've been going through our own set of problems here and there, but I think at the core, the DNA at Salesforce, all of us love partners, because we've always fundamentally been of course, we've also been a sales-led growth motion, but a large majority of our business also is through partners, because partners are the ones, like I always say, have deep domain experience. They've seen the same use case across multiple customers, and they can quickly bring customer success to reality. Whereas if you start from scratch, I mean, it's just about if you've already learned driving versus you're an amateur, who would you trust giving you a ride back to your hotel? Of course, you would trust the guy who's got his driver's license and not someone's learning. And that's where the partners are licensed. Partners deeply understand our product, the use case, and I think they also understand the fundamental operational expertise, like he said, and Nicholas said about the operational risks that can come in. So you're not waiting for that last minute to say, oh, I got this product into production, now I'm going to measure the value or the return on investment. So partners are the way to go, and partners are what we think are going to not just increase the consumption of agents, but also making and building those true agents that really work and accelerate this agentic revolution that everyone is really dreaming about.
Thank you, Bara. So we are nearly out of time. But before we close, I would really like to have the perspective of each part with this question. So I'm going to read the question, and then you tell me who wants to start. So from your perspective or your role, what do you believe is the next big evolution that will truly take AI agents not only like a very useful tool for a specific business units, but that BB can elevate agents like a very transformative and a strategic alternative for the organizations?
I think first and foremost, agentic sprawl is going to be a reality. Now, with all of you guys building, I've seen an internal dashboard where Salesforce employees have built like 18,000 agents for different things. We call it as internal agent exchange. And I was fascinated to see how many of those are not just in experimentation phase, but actually in production. So that's why I truly call Salesforce as an agentic enterprise. So agentic sprawl is going to be that new reality. And when you have sprawl, I think the reason why you want to put this into production is when you believe the agent is working, but also working to the guardrails that you've put in. And that's where security is going to come in. The telemetry of these agents are going to also be the next gen revolution, and that is exactly why tools like the agent fabric are going to be extremely important. They're going to be like automatic attached to any agentic initiative there, because that gives you those infinite power to apply all your security policies, and then drive away that skepticism into more optimism. And then I think that's the biggest revolution that we're going to see, at least what I'm seeing it.
That's incredible, yeah. Something very similar is happening inside Globant. We all want to embrace how to build agents, and this is something that maybe we will see in every organization pretty soon.
Yeah, and I will definitely give you guys credit if you guys haven't watched how Globant actually built the legacy modernization from one tool to another, all through an agentic experience. I've seen it. I was blown away. And yeah, I think I immediately said, hey, let me sign up for you. So free publicity there. So if you guys
Sure.
want to watch it,
Please come to
go
our
ahead.
booth so you can experience what we are doing with these
And
agents
thanks,
to accelerate
Nicholas, for building that.
legacy
I think
implementation.
I've seen it. I think I'll tell you this. You guys are the first partner to have ever done something like this on the agentic transformation.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernard. Please, Bernard, let us know.
Probably it's going to be, well, we have already seen this kind of new agentic marketing and these agents managing or leading agents. I think it's going to be like the next step, because we have already seen agents implemented in different companies and in many companies. Internally, it's going to be like the big change when they are able to do the hard work, We now, after the pandemic, we have seen how we are increasing in terms of Teams calls or Google Meet calls or whatever, and we have they inbox plenty of emails and these kind of things, and how many time we spend actually just reading the 80% of the emails that you have, you don't need to pay attention, but you normally do it. Also attend these kind of meetings that sometimes is now everything based on that, but the company needs people also thinking, and making decisions. So if you are able to have these agents leading agents and helping people to make the right decisions, it's going to make the difference. So I think that is going to be like the next step when you have great accuracy in terms of agentic. And from that moment, we are going to be sure that the information that we are getting from the agents is going to be the right information to make the decision. So probably that is going to make the difference, and it's going to be the next step.
Yeah, and it's a huge difference how
Yeah.
metrics for operational processes will be awesome.
And also, it's not just being able to help us. It's also, being like, hey, I'm your agent, okay? I have seen that your sales are decreasing for 20% before you make attention to the KPI, and they are like, giving a flag or whatever. So that's going to be the moment that they are able to go on their own, and paying attention to the right things and important things for the company. And it's going to be different, because every people in the company, they have like the different goals and different things that they think are important, but for your colleagues, it's not always the same. So if the agent is able to adapt to you and your necessities, that is going to make actually
a big difference, yes.
a big difference, yeah.
Nico?
Yeah, totally agree with this. I think that that currently discussions around agents are going back again to data, right? So we know that in the future, we need to pay more attention into data quality aspects. We know that this is something that we need to work a lot with the clients. I think that the typical question today from a client side is, are we prepared for implementing these agents? Are my data right now with good quality to start with, right? The journey. So we know that in the future, again, the conversation will be maintained not inside the agents on how you can build agents, right? It's more if you have the data and the whole information to make the agents more accurate, right? So we are on that, and we know that also another big conversation is related with how you are going to maintain all the different data points and access in a secure way, right? Because, right now, the agents are out there in many platforms there. They are querying data, they are delivering information, right? So we need to know, and we need to be sure that the discussion around security and how you are going to govern that data and the access is so important. We know that that's the next step, is to start thinking more about the security and the governance aspects there. And I think third is very important to understand that currently in the most of our clients are trying to agentify their process. This is a very good word I like. It's how you are going to agentify your process. And the next step that we are facing with our clients is to identify those processes that you can identify inside your organization, right? There will be, agents building agents. And of course, having agents to assess and to understand what the process inside your organization could be agentified, right? So that's the next step, is trying to use agents not only to support business processes and change the experience from the client side, right? Is to understand what process inside your organization could be agentified. And what do you need in terms of data with all the secure conditions to start building those agents that could speed up the different conversations with your clients. So that's I think that the future, everything we know, and of course, based on Salesforce conversations we had in the past with product guys and everything related with agents, are going to move to these kind of things, are going to move to interoperability, are going to move to, again, to data, are going to move to govern, are going to also move to agentify process in a more easily but secure way, right? So that's the conversation right now, and we are trying to be prepared to be very close to our clients in that respect. Yeah.
That's awesome, Nico. Well, that's our roundtable. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our speakers.
Thank you.
And let's see and let's imagine what can we do with more agents in our organizations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for any of our guests? Questions?
I do have one. This is for Bernardo. How do you guys, being La Liga, working with teams? Teams are your partners. So
Yep.
how do you manage content, messaging, fan engagement when every team have their own also, they have their own interaction with the fans? How do you manage to, I don't know, sync Barça, Real, Athletic with the same message or with a similar content or something like that? How do you do that?
Well, not in terms of content, but in terms of technology, for instance, what we try to do is, well, we have 42 teams, because it's the first and second division in Spain. We know that not all the teams, they have not only probably the budget, but also they don't have the people, to start working with a company or with technology like Salesforce. So what we try to do is to create like a technology that are able to escalate. So we are centralizing different kinds of projects. For instance, we offer to all the teams centralized for La Liga Marketing Cloud. So we have a multi-tenant ecosystem when we have Marketing Cloud and different business units, one for each team. Is something optional. They can join the project or not. But we have, for instance, more than 30 teams joining this project. So they have their own content, of course. They decide to connect their stores or in terms of merchandise or the ticketing also. But we are helping them to create all the journeys. We have different templates. So for them, it's like we're accelerating, the implementation and the way they adopt the technology. And we do the same not only with Marketing Cloud, we do the same, for instance, with acquisition, in terms of acquisition with the content. We are helping them with consultancy and also helping them with their acquisition campaigns. So we have a team, they are always trying to help them and trying to also to push them, because there are teams that they don't pay attention to marketing or acquisition or engagement. So what we try to do is to offer them the technology. And also I was thinking that in terms of a web and app, we developed with Globant CMS, developed by Sportian. Sportian is the joint venture we have with Globant, that is called Maker. Maker is for sport companies that they need like a CMS adapted to these kind of companies. I think in La Liga, more than 32 clubs, they are using Maker. And also, I think in the NBA, there are some teams or another companies, so they are, we are trying to help them in the end to have access to the technology, and we are always trying to help them. So we are behind them, so we are sure that they are not staying back in terms of competition or in terms of when they compete with other teams. But the content is their content, we can't manage that.
Congratulations, very nice roundtable. This was a really good discussion. I'm a big football fan. I love La Liga and the Premier. I was curious, though, I was thinking about La Liga when you were talking. A lot of the big teams have like academies that have multiple, like Real Madrid has a basketball team, right, and a volleyball team. Your remit is strictly focused on football, but do you work with these other sports teams as well under these big academies and these big teams, I guess?
Yeah, well, Not actually. We are focused on football, of course. It's true that there are some teams or clubs, in this case, in Spain that they have like basketball section or volleyball, handball, or whatever. But it's true that the 90% or 95% of the business for them or the fan base is in football. So it's true that I was thinking if any team they have like connected anything in this case, but really we are focused on football.
Good growth opportunity for Globant.
Yeah.
Well, in the end, they are participating in different leagues, not in La Liga, you know. But it's true that in Spain, La Liga has a great relation with other competition. We are always trying to support other competition. Even in La Liga Plus is our OTT. In Spain, you can watch the other competition or other sports, but not football. Or you can watch football, but not La Liga. Okay, because we have our own broadcasters. So we always try to support and give a voice to these other sports that they don't have the power that the football has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for bringing La Liga, actually, because I come from Boston, where we are like, and I love football, because that's what I watched and played growing up. So, they call it soccer in Europe, but no. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and thank you, Globant, for making them successful. And we're all in it together.
Thank you so much, everyone. And if you need a volunteer for Real Madrid, count on me.
Yeah.